Hello all. Normally, I generally end up focusing more on the science bent of politics and less on specific parties. However, I think it's about high time that I clarified something pertaining to my political views. Normally, I am very much science first and politics second, regardless of party. The only reason I've been harping against some of the right-wing governments in Canada lately is because of the fact that the Conservative government has generally been conducting anti-science maneuvers by generally muzzling and cutting the funding to various independent government research bodies. However, something has come to my attention, which I think might make it far more appropriate to start doing some strategic voting only for the purposes of actually testing a party. I am posting in the description below 2 links to indications that apparently Stephen Harper, the Prime Minister of Canada, might be attempting to call an election earlier than the date that the Fixed Election Act, which, if memory serves, I think he passed into law? Well, it was either that or his policy, one of the two, before the fixed election date of October 2015 that he had originally planned. Now, I actually think this might be a good thing if we can play it right. See, Bill C-23, the so-called Fair, unquote, Elections Act, which basically, amongst the things that it does, strips away the power of Elections Canada to investigate election fraud properly, or to determine why people don't go out and vote, and also puts in various ID issues, so that while vouching is fine, you have to use, if you can't find a voucher, you have to use things like credit card statements as identification for your to get in and vote, which effectively is going to disenfranchise a large number of Canadian voters. But that particular bill has not passed the Senate yet, which means that while it is still being debated in the Senate, it is actually still in flux and has not been fully signed into law. I think that if we could get this election early before that bill gets signed into law, then there might actually still be a chance for voters to come out and really make a difference. So here's my thought. I would like to propose the following. Everyone who I know, please reshare this video to other people in Canada, and I would like to propose that if an early election is called, or if an election is called before Bill C-23 gets passed into law, I would like to propose the following idea. We muscle behind the Green Party and try to give them a minority government. Now, here's the reason I stress a minority government and not a majority. See, if they actually are a better alternative than the NDP, the Greens, and the NDP, the Conservatives, and the Liberals, the big three, if they are what they claim to be, a real alternative, and if their claims are true, that they would actually be able to make a much better government than everyone else would, then I propose the idea that we give them a minority and then actually allow them to try to convince members of the other party that their ideas are sound when they actually have been given a minority government. Here's the thing. The reason I would prefer the minority is because all they would have to do is convince a few NDP or a few Liberals or even a few Conservatives that some of their ideas might actually make sense. Now, if their ideas actually have merit, then they will be able to do so and be able to run the government of the day in a much more effective way than any of the other parties have. However, if they actually fail and are not living up to their claims, then by having a minority government status, they could easily be voted out by no confidence and fire off another election. In other words, I'd at least like to test each one of the parties under a minority government status for the next little while. We've already had the Conservatives for the past while, and we haven't had the NDP in government, I don't think, in the federal government, I think we had them for like 1 day at one point, and it was like several decades ago. So I'd like to suggest the idea that, the next few Liberal governments, or if Justin Trudeau is kept in power as the leader, I think we should actually give it a try, where we first vote in a Green minority government to see what they would do, then vote in an NDP minority government to see what they would do, and then finally vote in a Liberal minority government to see what they would do, since we already have the track record of the Conservatives. And then afterwards, after we've had a few minority governments to get an idea of where things are at, then let's go back to the populace after votes of no confidence or what have you, and then elect a full majority government again, based on the fact that we've at least had a new track record sample of all the other parties for the next little while. Just another empirical approach. Anyway, so yeah, links will be below. Tell me what you think. Oh, and for those of you amongst my friends on Facebook who are highly supportive of the conservatives, given what I'm posting here, yeah, I know I'm probably going to get flack for this, but, you know, hey, I had to speak my mind on this one. So yeah, catch you guys later, and hopefully the next video will actually be something more creative, something more interesting, and something more entertaining / thought-provoking. See ya!